Warning: Tsukihime is an adult visual novel with themes and depictions of sex, sexual violence, gore, and abuse. Warnings will be placed before any of these pop up in the video. Just be advised that these themes are in this story. Welcome back to Tsukihime. Last chapter, we met our prior murder victim, the female vampire named Arcueid, who teamed up with Shiki to find the serial murderer/vampire running amok in the town. However, due to Shiki's attack on her, and a subsequent attack in the alleyway where they conversed, Shiki was tasked with defending her in a hotel room while she tried to regain her strength in case of another attack. And an attack did come from the vampire Nrvnqsr, who massacred many hotel guests and almost Shiki and Arcueid along with them. However, he was forced to retreat, only leaving words of completing the job in the future due to the coming of the next day. Now recovering at Arcueid's apartment, we arrive at the beginning of Chapter 4, The Black Beast, Part 2. It's 6 a.m., and Shiki examines Arcueid's ordinary room while lamenting his exhaustion after last night. He is able to rest a little bit before being woken up by a news broadcast. He notices that Arcueid is no longer on her bed, and she's doing something in the kitchen. He's about to check on her when a new news story reaches his ears.
Next on the news, a massive number of people went missing in the early morning hours at a hotel in southern Minamiyashirogi City.
I can't do that with that accent. I stop dead in my tracks. My eyes become glued to the newscaster on the television set.
103 people staying at the hotel are still unaccounted for. Furthermore, bloodstains can be seen within the hotel, and the police are beginning to suspect that they were involved in some kind of crime.
What are you saying? Bloodstains? It wasn't something that small and cute. The newscaster reads off the script with a disinterested tone. The screen switches to the scene of the hotel I stayed at earlier, and then listed the names of the 103 missing people. Of course, neither my nor Arcueid's name are on the list.
Furthermore, a large amount of wild animal hair was found within the hotel. It is presumed that the hair is connected with the suspect in some way. Some of the confirmed hair samples appear to be from a large breed of dog, wolves, and there are also evidence of a bear. There were numerous different hair samples found on the scene. Ridiculously, what appeared to be shark bites were also reported from the scene.
Click. I switch off the television set. 100 people. About 100 people back then. In just half an hour, they were all brutally killed. Bloodstains? Unaccounted for? How could you say that when you have that much information? I understand completely. Everyone staying in the hotel was killed by those incomprehensible beasts and devoured without a trace. Ugh. I resist the urge to throw up. God, I could not imagine coming in the next day like you're the immediate morning shift. You're not ready for that shit. I can't allow myself to vomit when I recall each and every event that occurred last night. Such a petty sympathy would set me lower than a filthy pig. For me, the only one who escaped death in the hotel, I won't allow anything else other than hatred for the one who's behind it all. As he continues to think of the people who died, he starts directing his disgust towards their attacker from yesterday. Arcueid then comes in from the kitchen. She greets him calmly, and when Shiki asks about her wound, she says it's fine. This calm demeanor brings him back to realizing that she is a vampire, so he didn't have to worry, but he's still happy she's okay. When he thanks her for protecting him, her reaction's a little different from what he was expecting. Eh? I helped you, Shiki? Arcueid's eyes widen in surprise. It seems she wasn't even aware of it. Yeah, you helped me. So it's a little late, but thanks for protecting me. If you hadn't pulled me out of the way, I would have joined that list of 103 names. Thanks. It really wasn't anything. I'm the reason you met Nrvnqsr. So you don't have to feel like you owe me. Maybe, but the truth is that you saved me. Since you did, I want to thank you. But if I didn't make you watch over me, you never would have been involved in that. I'm the one messing up your everyday life. So wouldn't it be more appropriate for you to hate me rather than to be indebted to me? Well, certainly I do think you're a big bother, but, you know, in the end, I think I have to take responsibility for my actions. A long, long time ago, someone taught me this. She said whatever happens around me, I have to stick with those things I started to the very end. While it seems quite natural, I am a supporter of that idea. Which is why I don't hate Arcueid. I just feel like I'm involved in something pretty bothersome. Oh, now that you mention it, I did say I needed a shield because you killed me, so I guess I don't have to apologize for involving you in such things. Right. The situation I'm in is my own fault. Your fault, huh? I think you have bad luck, Shiki. If only you killed some other girl than me, things never would have ended up like this. This statement gives Shiki pause, as he recalls he only had those unusual thoughts when he saw her that day. He wonders aloud as to why he did it. Arcueid responds, "There's no reason at all, right? Because you're just a born killer, Shiki." Shiki is taken aback, but she continues, discussing the precision and skill of his attack on her. While she says she doesn't know how many times he's killed up to this point, picking her was a terrible mistake. Shiki, meanwhile, can barely give an answer, prompting Arcueid to tell him to just say what he wants to say. What's with the scary face all of a sudden? If you want to say something, it's better just to say it. We've never held anything back between us, right? That may be true. I nod and motion her to come near me with a hand. A secret? Arcueid approaches excitedly. I bring my mouth close to her ear and clearly state what I want to say. You know, Arcueid. Yeah, what? Okay, ready? That's not it at all, you idiot! Idiot. My shout echoes through the room. I strike her eardrums with full power, not holding back one bit. This is kind of a dick move. Ow. Arcueid exaggeratedly covers her ears. I'm ticked off now. What are you doing all of a sudden, Shiki? I'm the one who should be angry. I was wondering why you were asking me all those impossible things, but now I understand. Understand what? About you asking me to be a shield against a monster and watching over you because you think I'm some crazed killer. Geez, you're unbelievably mistaken. You thought so highly of me because of that. Look, I'll tell you right now, I'm not a killer or a homicidal maniac. You were the first person I killed. Arcueid's mouth hangs open. With this revelation now known to her, she questions in shock as to why he did it. This brings Shiki to ponder about that strange fixation from 2 days ago, but he also realizes that he needs to do something. Apologize. No matter what happened to him or why he did it, he knows he needs to apologize to her, so he does so formally. Arcueid, recognizing his sincerity, infers that he didn't enjoy killing her, and with his confirmation, she takes back calling him a killer. While Shiki still feels he's too dangerous to be out and about, Arcueid shuts him down, as his regret at the situation is more than enough to keep him from doing such a thing again. Shiki, there really are people who will not sell their souls to the devil even if they hated the world. Like someone so honest they could apologize to a vampire. So I think it's alright. No matter what people say, and no matter how much you say you're not, you can still stay in the world you want to live in. What? I'm speechless. How can you smile and say that to the person who killed you? Arcueid. Come on, we have much more troublesome problem to worry about. Now that you are up, Shiki, I want to talk about now on. As she speaks, Arcueid collapses on the floor. Unfortunately, while still cheerful, Arcueid hasn't been able to heal her wounds yet, a side effect from Shiki's attack. To make matters worse, she isn't the best at tending to them, as she opted to close her stomach wound with packing tape. After examining the less than helpful tape under her shirt, he puts her back on her bed, takes some of her money, and brings back some medical supplies to properly tend to her injuries. On his way out, though, he notices what she was doing in the kitchen, making something that, quote, which appears edible, unquote. He understands that since she doesn't usually eat food, this must mean she tried to make something for him, which frustrates him that she was caring for him when she was still the one in more need of help. While Shiki disinfects and bandages what he can of her wounds, they continue chatting. The conversation moves to Nero, with Shiki asking what exactly he is, considering not just anyone's out here flinging animals from his stomach. Arcueid confirms that despite that, he is a vampire, though that was the first time they had actually met. She hadn't met a vampire she didn't kill in the same meeting, so that was a first. He is a notable vampire, and she is too, so neither of them needed to introduce themselves at the time. He apparently is one of the oldest vampires, and he's unique in that he doesn't maintain a territory like other vampires and build up his power, but is more of a wanderer. His other name, Chaos, is one given by the church due to the many types and numbers of beasts he contains in his body. However, Arcueid hammers out that he probably has about 20 to 30 familiars, which at least gives them a concrete number to prepare for. However, they still don't have too much time to prepare, as he already knows where they are, so the confrontation will have to be tonight. While Shiki starts to panic about having to face him, Arcueid puts her faith in him and his eyes, saying that they can take Nero down together. This brings us to another choice. Hey, what in the world are you saying? What am I saying? You're going to fight with me, right? Arcueid looks directly at me. Her eyes place all trust in me. But this isn't a joke. I'd like to refuse, but there's no way I could take on a monster like that. See, I would say number 2, but I mean, we can definitely kill people. And it's not like, oh, people can kill. Like, we have a full-on way to kill someone very quickly in one strike. We might as well give it a try. Though Shiki's fears tell him to decline, to leave, and stay away, the horrors at the hotel and him being possibly the only one able to stop Nero overcomes that feeling, and he agrees to help. With this, they decide to come up with a plan. Arcueid notes that Shiki's inability to act in front of Nero was due to his mystic eyes, but also Shiki's weaker will. If he can remove his doubts, he should be able to overcome them. Shiki still wants to find a way to strike undetected, but Arcueid shuts him down. No, I'd better not plan on doing something I've never done. I'm going to approach him from behind and cut the lines on his limbs. That ought to take away his freedom of movement, and if you do that, Shiki, you will die. You say that the question is how you'll act. That's not right. The real question is how you'll kill. That's true, but Shiki, you are about to fight a monster called a vampire, so throw away your human morals, even if it's just for tonight. The only way you down in the crucial moments. I understand that much. He's a monster, so that's why I wanted to help you stop him. No, you don't understand. Cut off his limbs? Don't do something so suicidal. If you got the time to cut off his limbs, first cut off his life. Nobody else but you can. Listen to me and don't give him the chance to retaliate. The difference in your offensive abilities is just too great. If you miss your first strike, you've got no chance of winning whatsoever. Arcueid's eyes are unforgiving of any denial. It's true. It's exactly as she says. If I take my time cutting off his limbs first, I might find my head being eaten by the mouth of a crocodile as I do so. Shiki, he will come at midnight tonight. That's when when you and I will kill him until he can be killed no further. Not how to act, but how to kill. Think only about that. Arcueid's savage eyes are staring right at me. She is really angry. Angry that I can still hold such naive notions. I understand. I won't hesitate. I'll take out his point of death in a single strike. That's what I should do, right, Arcueid? Arcueid doesn't answer. I suppose her silence indicates agreement. But where should we wait? Bystanders are going to get killed like back at the hotel if we wait here in these apartments. Shouldn't we change our location? Yes. I think the park will be suitable. No one's there late at night, and if anyone happens to pass by, it's their own bad luck. Saying that, Arcueid turns her back to me. What's wrong? If you got something to say, then say it. I've decided to help you, so I'm willing to take risks. It's useless. You haven't used the word kill even once. At this rate, you'll just hesitate at the last moment and be killed. That's not true. He's a monster who's eaten over 100 people. There's no way I'd hesitate to kill him. Arcueid gives a small sigh. If I controlled you, I could make sure you killed him. I felt that I wanted to do so for the first time, but I also felt that I didn't want to for the first time. It's kind of like a big contradiction. Arcueid turns to face me, mumbling something I really didn't understand. I trust you, Shiki. Let's get him together. A smile comes over Arcueid's face, but her smile looks really uneasy. They come up with a plan and head to the park to do it. Arcueid will meet with Nero and talk with him, dragging his attention so that Shiki, hidden behind bushes, can strike at him unaware. It is around midnight when he appears, but he does not immediately attack her. Instead, he goes along with her conversation. There are a few choices here on when to strike, but if you decide to wait, you get a decent amount of info on vampires. Nero was not his name when he was a human. Though he has no need for his real name, her knowledge of it impresses him. and he calls her the vampire's executioner. He also states that there are currently 27 dead apostles alive. We get our first chance to attack, but I opt not to, and the conversation goes on. Arcueid brings up that there are 28 dead apostles, counting one called the Serpent. Nero says he is too different from the rest and is not included. He also calls him the Serpent of Akasha, and it seems that Arcueid has been hunting him for a while. With his attention seemingly fully drawn at this point, I decide now would be the time to strike. Shiki moves in towards Nero's back, completely unknown to his enemy. As he nears and focuses on his body, Shiki sees nothing. No lines, no points. He tries to focus harder as his head starts to ache, and he notices a single point on his back. As he thrusts his knife towards the point, the amount of points on his back skyrockets exponentially.
Right before the hit connects, the point along his backs multiply rapidly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 20, 80, 100, 200, 300, 400. Wait, that might not be an actual point. Yeah, this isn't right. This doesn't feel like his death. These are more like heterogeneous aggregations. His body, what the hell is it? Shiki! Arcueid's voice. No, I don't have time to think right now. His back's right there. Right now I can just pick any one of these points and it'll be over. There! I bring my knife down as a yell. However, before then, his back rises up like a balloon. What? Pop! A black dog appears from his back as if emerging from a black sea. What? The black dog shoots forth like a missile. I slice its line with my knife, but it's just a line. Only the dog's legs are cut off. Its trajectory does not stop. Gah! What? The black dog rams its head into my stomach. Gah! What strength! I fly back several meters and get pushed down to the ground. As the dog continues towards him, Shiki hits its point this time, killing it. However, it explodes into a black ooze that pins him to the ground. After this, Nero recognizes what just happened, but continues to talk with Arcueid, as he states that his immediate area is his domain, and anything that enters will be attacked even if he doesn't notice it himself. Despite this change in fortune, Arcueid is still ready to face him, and Nero starts his attack. He releases 3 leopards from his coat towards her, but she quickly dispatches them with her bare hands. More and more animals, a lion, a tiger, a bear.
Oh my!
Even that shark that got me before, all taken down and returned to black goop by Arcueid. Nero tries to retreat, but Arcueid is able to catch up, and she cuts him in half with her claws. While Shiki is still stuck and in shock at her strength, Nero, now at half strength, still tries to retreat. Arcueid, however, can only approach slowly, most likely having exhausted most of her power. Noting her strength despite this, Nero states that he didn't expect to win with just 10 or 20 of himself. What he means by this is that none of the animals he uses are his familiars. No, they are actually full parts of his body. Equal parts another him. And the number is the aforementioned 666 beasts from Arcueid's initial lesson. This means our number on how many familiars was wrong, but also the amount of beings we need to fight was also wrong, and that is a big problem. As he dares Arcueid to use her mystic eyes to see the beasts in his body, the other half of him that was cut apart moments ago jumps from behind her. Having turned into a bunch of snakes, they pin her to the ground and return to the black ooze that is also keeping Shiki down. She is unable to talk or move now. Shiki notes that the pressure on her is much greater than on him, and Nero starts to gloat in his apparent victory. He starts to discuss the true chaos of his body, the unity and yet many lives in his body, and the monumental task it would take to truly kill all of him. With his continued talking and the ooze slowly covering Arcueid more and more, Nero prepares to add her to his body. As he sees this, Shiki moves to action. He looks and finds lines on his gooey binds and cuts himself free. However, he is still unsure of what to do next. He can't reach Arcueid, but he also can't move towards Nero without being assaulted by whatever other animal he's got on auto-fire.
That if I want to defeat this vampire, I will have to kill all the beasts having that point. Ugh! I can't step forward. No matter what, a human can't step forward toward a monster like that. Damn it. In the end, once more, I'm trying to save my life and doing nothing more than getting killed. I'm dropping another save. Oh? I hear a voice. His voice is full of contained amusement. No, it's not his voice.
I can hear something like the sound of footsteps. This can't be. The sound is far away, but without a doubt, the sound of light skipping footsteps is drawing closer. Arcueid said earlier, the park is empty of people at night, and if people pass by, then they are simply out of luck. Far away, I see a small human shape. Some girl, I don't know about my own age. This isn't good. For her to come here, it means, run away! I scream. I scream, forgetting that he wasn't even paying attention to me, or that he might attack me. Yet the passerby doesn't stop. Not knowing anything, she casually heads for this place. Half of the vampire in the black coat breathes out into content. My body has just been torn apart. I need more sustenance. His half of a coat squirms like a living thing. Fortunately, it seems sustenance has arrived. A black beast flies from his body. Stop! My voice doesn't reach her. The beast runs like the black wind towards the faraway figure. It's over in an instant. A short scream, the sound of a body hitting the ground, the smell of blood wafting on the air. The black tiger retrieves the human in its mouth. The girl's face is no more. Most likely gouged out by the tiger's claw. It's too ruthless. Repulsive, one-sided violence. Ugh! My head hurts. My throat is starting to dry. My mind starts to compress and I can only see the enemy in front of me. With another innocent life lost, Shiki starts to see red, and he charges at Nero. A leopard is the first thing that meets his charge, but Shiki is fully determined to kill, and quickly strikes the leopard's lines. Now having taken Nero's attention, Shiki demands for Arcueid's release, to no avail. As Nero's coat blows upward, Shiki sees the many animals that lie underneath, a number he points to as almost 100 in all. As he takes down an approaching black dog, he is attacked by birds going for his head. After, he's attacked by more dogs at his lower body. He desperately strikes lines and points on the animals around him, but like a hydra, he strikes one down and multiple other animals take its place. He's overwhelmed, as eventually he can only see the black coloring of the animals around him, absent of light. They continue attacking his body, and his time to change things is running out. He needs to make a choice now before it's too late. Should he continue withstanding the attack and wait for a better opportunity? Or should he try and charge for the main body? There's not gonna be a chance to wait. Kick his ass. Shiki decides to make a mad dash for Nero's body, hoping he hasn't moved from his initial position. He swings wildly into the crowd of animals around him and moves forward. The main half is still there, but as Shiki sees him, Nero launches a stag that impales him with its antlers. Nero boasts about adding him to his body, and Shiki is brought into the black void under his coat. Shiki's body is starting to be picked at by the animals in Nero's body. As he feels the pain and tries to scream, his mind solely focuses on it, on dying, something he is very much afraid of. But before he is killed, he is wounded on his chest scar, which snaps him out of his pain for a moment. Something like claws dig into my chest. It's where the scar from my old wound is. A really painful, frightening, only hateful place. 8 years ago, that summer day. Yeah, it really was hateful. There wasn't any room for pain or fear. Yes, I just hated. Then, what is to be done is already decided. If you're going to kill me, then my whole body's already numb. All that remains is the sensation of the knife I refuse to drop in my right hand. Be killed? Be killed? Who? By what? I laugh out. Right, that's exactly how it is. Running away is absolutely impossible. Escape is absolutely impossible. There's only one thing to be done. Be killed. Be killed. Definitely, without a doubt, be killed. By nothing else and by no one else. He will be killed by me. In a place of a yell, I start to laugh like an idiot. Strange. Strangely, I can't stop laughing. Slice, slice, slice. With each sound, another beast dies. My brain is in agony. All throughout my body, my nerves, my blood vessels, my cells, my blood. Everything has gone abnormal. The black dome disappears. I just killed about 70 beasts which were eating my body. What? I can hear his voice. Alright, I have to stand or I won't be able to kill anymore. I stand up. There's no problem. There's not a single place where I'm not wounded, but I can still move around for a while. What? Did you... Yeah, I understand how you feel, vampire. My brain is on fire. It's similar, just like when I killed Arcueid. I can't even breathe properly. Along with the headache and heat, which almost drives me insane. Almost enough to make me puke. The world is saturated with death. So you want to kill me, monster? Then we have something in common. Fine. Let's fight to the death, Chaos. Nero launches larger animals at Shiki, but they're dealt with quickly. Nero grows more concerned, but Shiki's too focused to care. He finally sees the lines and points on Nero's body and continues carving a path of animals to get to him. Realizing the danger, Nero retrieves part of his body that was holding down Arcueid and reconstitutes himself. He then decides he needs something bigger, and proceeds to open up his chest to release, quote, a crab-like spider, unquote, that is a bit bigger than an elephant that Arcueid had taken down earlier in the fight. Shiki, despite losing a lot of blood, moves forward and even kills this beast. Nero is growing more and more agitated, and even a bit fearful in his confusion to the absolute death of his beasts. However, his pride prevents him from running away. No, never! My name is Nero, the immortal chaos of the undecaying vampire race. It is not impossible for me to look this unsightly. His body starts to form a shape. The body which was only darkness begins to transform. This body is immortal. I have surpassed death long ago. His body leaps forward, not his beasts. Condensing all his remaining beasts to the limit, he transforms himself into the best beast and moves to kill me. A cat? His speed is as fast as Arcueid's. He reaches out with arms which would pulverize my neck if he contacted me. Dodging that, I cut the line on his arm. As if unable to control his speed, he rushes past me without stopping. The distance between us grows once again. I feel dizzy. I can't stop shaking. What is this? He stares at his severed arm in astonishment. What is this? Why does the severed part not regenerate? How could such a ridiculous thing be occurring? He isn't a magus or a barrier, so how can he destroy me just by cutting me? How stupid. If you get too concerned over appearances like that, you'll get killed, Chaos. Oh, that was her. Never mind. I hear a familiar voice from him. You! With bloodshot eyes, he stares at Arcueid, standing eloquently to the side. Oh, I see. When he ceased being only half a body, she became free. Oh, don't worry about me. Shiki will take care of you. Right now, he would even kill me if I got in the way. A giggling voice. It's your fault for thinking you should kill him painfully. You should kill your enemy quickly without allowing the opportunity for a counterstrike, right? That was your mistake. Silence! I do not make mistakes. I still have 560 lives remaining. Just wait. Once I kill him, I will get you once more. Really? It won't happen, but I'll be waiting. Arcueid doesn't go near him. He's only looking at me. He's coming. I brace my right hand with my left as I grip my knife. Nero crouches. It's the action of a predator preparing to pounce on his prey. Oh, I forgot to tell you one more thing. Her voice flows like the wind before that. It may be a little late, but he's killed me once before. What? This time it's for real. In his astonishment, he loses sight of his identity. For a moment, his entranced thoughts flow into my mind like a curse. Is this a nightmare? Kill Arcueid Brunstead? This monster, for whom even the words immortality isn't enough to describe, was killed by that human? No, that can't be true. But wait, hypothetically, if it is true. Then, just which one of us was the pretentious one? Exactly. Exactly. It seems the pretentious one is you, Chaos. At the end of Hatred and Chaos, Nero laughs with pleasure from the bottom of his heart. I can't wait any longer. I start running towards my unmoving target. I see. You are going to kill me, human. The beast roars. With one arm, he dashes forth to pierce my heart. Oh, God. His speed is so fast, you can't ask for any more. A simple, efficient motion to kill me. A motion too beautiful. I slice his outstretched arm. Hundreds of points of death are on his body. But more than that, deep inside of him, and the very center, I can see his ultimate point. It doesn't matter how many lives he has. I am only going to kill the existence of chaos. So it isn't killing him, but the chaos with it, which is him. I am going to kill one world. I attack him head on, a light sound of impact. The knife pierces into his center. Twisting his lips in a grin, the vampire laughs voicelessly. This can't be. Numbly, the black beast starts to crumble from his fingertips. You are my death? His body temperature rapidly dwindles. The end is instantaneous, like a dropping curtain. With this one attack, along with the remaining 560 beats, Nero Chaos is annihilated. With the battle ended, Shiki falls to his exhaustion. Despite winning, the amount of wounds he suffered were great, and he'll probably die from them. However, there is one more threat to his life that he isn't ready for. Shiki! Arcueid's voice. Run, you're getting targeted! Arcueid shouts as she dashes toward me. Huh? I stare up at the night sky as I sit. There I see the white moon. Oh no! And the figure of a blue crow. It screams as it falls straight towards me. It drops down to pierce my brain with its sharp beak. I try and stand up to escape, but my body's at its limit. I try to stand, but only end up collapsing on the ground. Because I fell on my back, I get a disturbingly clear view of the crow. It dives just like a bullet towards my face, and with the sound of the sliced flesh, it dies right before my eyes. The blue crow is impaled by a flying nail which looks like a large sword. It had to have come from somewhere above. I look up at the night sky. There is the white moon. Oh shit. And there's someone dressed in black priest-like garments. Damn, and they got like 3 other swords. The figure stands on a streetlight and stares down at me. Despite just being almost killed, I vacantly think those high-laced boots look really cool. And they kind of do. The figure doesn't say anything. The emotionless eyes resemble the sharp moonlight. Resembles? The figure? Really resembles Senpai. My mind swims. Caw! The crow's death cry. And I close my eyes quietly. Left only with his ears, he listens to Arcueid arguing with someone, assumedly the person in the priestly robes. The person wants to heal Shiki's wounds, but Arcueid is against them doing anything, clearly hostile to them. However, the person says that they are the only ones capable of healing these wounds, lest Shiki die under Arcueid's guard. Arcueid relents, but they both share hateful remarks to each other. Shiki wakes up about an hour later, still in the park. He realizes his wounds and pain are all gone, and though he wonders if Arcueid did something, she says she didn't. Shiki realizes it was the person in the robes that must have, but when asked where they are, Arcueid tries to avoid the topic. She acts as though she didn't see anyone and that Shiki should stop asking, clearly agitated. Since they clearly aren't getting anywhere, and since Nero is now dead, Shiki decides to stop talking and conclude the night. Fine, I got it. I won't ask anymore. Besides, our partnership ends here anyways. Eh? Isn't it obvious? We defeated the vampire who did as he pleased in this town, so my responsibility's gone now. I have to get back home soon or Akiha will yell at me. I think it's about time to cut it off, Arcueid. You're right. Now that you mention it, it's already this late too. Arcueid nods. Oh, alright. I also nod in understanding. I nod out of understanding, but there's still something lingering. As if I regret parting with her. That's ridiculous. She's a vampire and I'm a normal human. If I associate with her anymore, something will happen that I can't take back. Bye, Arcueid. I'm dropping a save, because I'm sad. Raising a hand, I step away. There were a lot of horrible things that happened, but it was pretty fun too. So, take care of yourself. Yeah. It is late and you have to get back home. Good night. Till next time, Shiki. I think she just said something odd. I try to say, this is the last time, idiot, but I stop myself. Well, there are a lot of problems, but she is quite an interesting person. I speak as if trying to convince myself, but it's the truth. So even if it's just once in a while, I feel like, if by some chance we do meet again, it wouldn't be a bad thing. Shiki quietly sneaks back into the mansion and to his room. After everything that has happened, you'd think he'd fall fast asleep. Unfortunately, something keeps him from doing so. That person in the robes who reminds him of Ciel-senpai. He decides that he'll just ask her tomorrow, and if he's wrong, no harm, no foul. He didn't have the best look, so it could just be a misunderstanding. And with that, he falls asleep. Immortality. In what seems to be a dream, two people talk of vampires and immortality. It seems to be a discussion between Nero and the serpent, who was mentioned before. The serpent views a vampire's immortality as a degradation that is held off. He sought a different way to achieve eternity. A way to transfer himself from one body to an unborn child, bringing himself back to life. Though Nero says that the end of the human race would then result in his eternity ending, the serpent counters that if there was no other person to connect himself to, then there would be no point to living. When the conversation ends, the serpent offers Nero a way to shape the inside of his body in order to catch someone. Who, we don't know, as the dream fades to black, bringing us to the end of the chapter. Chapter/Day 5, October 25th, a Monday. Going into Chapter 5, Red Residue, Shiki wakes up in his bed at the Tono mansion. After the craziness of the last 3 days, he's ready to go back to school. However, he still feels there is something off to this peaceful day, and as he thinks this, he is spooked by the presence of Hisui in his room. It's before 7 a.m., and she's here to wake him up so that he and Akiha can talk about the last 2 days. She also notes that they know he came in late, at 2 a.m., with the mansion's security cameras. However, only herself and Kohaku know this. They have kept that from Akiha, which definitely helps Shiki a little bit. He agrees to see her, then gets dressed for school and heads for the lobby. We are then given a choice about what we will say to Akiha. Will we apologize without saying much more, attempt to deceive her as to what we were doing, or should we tell her the truth and see what happens? Concluding that the latter two options would not be accepted or believed, we should at least apologize for not being reachable and being away without notice. So with the plan to apologize, we make our way into the sitting room. Akiha gets straight to the point and asks what he's been doing while he was away. Shiki apologizes, but says he can't tell her about it. Her response? I'm sorry, but I can't tell you. Crash. The teacup that Akiha was holding falls to the table. Rather, I think she dropped it intentionally. Akiha-sama. Oh, I'm sorry, Hisui. Would you please clean it up? Hisui silently cleans up the spilled tea and the shards of the very expensive-looking teacup. I uneasily watch her do so while Akiha is glaring at me. Once done cleaning, Hisui goes to the kitchen. Then, Nissan? Yes? Could I ask you again? Akiha doesn't give up. I can feel her drive to get the story out of me no matter what. But still, I don't think I can tell her about it. Of course, not just for my sake, but hers. No. No matter how many times you ask me, I can't tell you. I feel sorry that I made you worry, but I can't tell you about it. Shiki holds firm and still refuses to tell her, but he says he hasn't done anything wrong. With the last 2 deadly nights and the removal of a dangerous threat from the streets, he knows doing so was the right thing to do. After pausing, Akiha accepts this, and says she won't ask about it anymore. She does ask him not to leave or do something similar again, since he's the eldest of the family. Shiki gives a retort that it shouldn't matter since she's the head of the family. This leads to one of my favorite character portraits in the game. You're so worried about the future of the Tono family, you should go find a husband appropriate for the Tono household. I really like this face. She's got like the little like side slash mouth. Huh? For some reason, Akiha descends into silence. What's wrong? Are you feeling alright, Akiha? It's nothing. If you have enough time to worry about me, please pay more attention to yourself. You have your chronic anemia to worry about, Nissan. Well, it is true I frequently collapse from anemia. Anyways, please do not leave the mansion by yourself often. Even without that, the city is dangerous recently. Someone like you, who meanders about in a daze, is just asking to be attacked by that serial killer. At mention of the serial killer, Shiki casually responds that he's been caught and won't be a problem anymore, which slightly shocks Akiha, who asks how he knows. He gives a throwaway line about seeing it, assumedly like in the news or something, but him saying he literally dealt with it would be very suspicious. However, he still feels a bit happy from having done good, and a smile appears on his face, to Akiha's confusion. At 7:30, Shiki's breakfast is ready, and he sees Akiha off to eat, noting that she's in a better mood. However, when he sits to eat, the rice has something red on it. Not too sure if it's supposed to be a topping or just something Shiki is imagining, but its color brings him back to the idea of blood and it ruins his appetite. He does try to eat, but spits it out on the first bite. In between cuts, Kohaku gives him some vitamins to help him feel better, and he heads back to the sitting room. Akiha questions if he left something, but he and Kohaku explain that he was having trouble eating since he was unsettled from a dream last night. Akiha looks at him worriedly, but Shiki ignores her before she can ask him something, and he heads for school. Hisui sees Shiki off, and asks when he'll be back, and he says he'll definitely be back in the afternoon. He passes the intersection thinking of Arcueid. She's not there, but he's a bit sad not to see her anymore, as he enjoyed his time with her. Aside from all the murder and near-death experiences, of course. Having got to school a little early by not eating breakfast, the school is pretty packed. However, in the rowdy movements of students, he sees Ciel and goes to say hi. He also decides to ask her about what happened last night.
Good morning, Tono-kun. It's strange to meet you out here.
Yeah, I saw you from behind, so I ran after you. There was something I wanted to ask. I sneak a look at her face.
Yes, what is it?
She faces me with her usual gentle smile. No, that had to have been someone else, or ask about last night. I don't see why I would push it off now. I might as well just ask because I was already planning to do that. I gather up my courage and ask her about last night. Senpai, last night, were you in the park? I thought I saw you wearing something like a black coat with your skirt flowing in the wind.
What is that?
Well, yeah, the high-laced boots suit you. I was kind of fascinated. You looked really cool.
Huh?
Senpai tilted her head. She frowns like she doesn't understand my words completely and then denies it.
I don't quite understand, but you're saying that I was near your house 2 nights ago, looking like that?
Yeah. Senpai, that was you, right?
No way. Tono-kun, are you saying I look like I really have that much free time?
Senpai is really angry. She can't be playing ignorant or lying.
No, that's not it, but I saw someone that looked like you in the park last night, so...
Senpai gives a sigh.
Tono-kun, that wasn't me. I don't have that kind of hobby.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to ask. Certainly after having her say that, she is right. Ciel Senpai and the person that night aren't related at all. In the first place, Senpai's just a normal person, and if she was actually there, she had to have seen me kill that vampire with my knife. If she saw such a gruesome scene, there'd be no way she could talk with me normally like this. Sorry, please forget it. I guess it was just someone else.
That's fine, but did that person really look like me? That weird person?
Well, I'm not too sure. It was dark and far away.
Huh.
Yeah, it was far away and I couldn't make out her face.
So why did I think it looked like Senpai?
Maybe there's something wrong with me. I cross my arms and think. The 10-minute bell rings. Uh-oh, we'll be late. Well, bye, Senpai. See you later.
Yes, I'll come to see you during lunchtime.
Making it to class, he chats with Arihiko about him not being at school. However, Arihiko brings up another classmate who's been missing class. The girl who joined in on their conversation on the serial killings in Chapter 1, Yumizuka. She's been absent for the last 2 days, and no one knows where she is. This brings me to my own realization in real time as both boys get ready for class. I'm pausing real quick. We'll let the bell kind of play real quick. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum. Okay. I really hope that she wasn't the girl from last night. Because if she was, I would be very upsetting. With it being lunchtime, Arihiko is excited about eating, but Shiki still doesn't have an appetite. We are then given a choice. Eat or don't eat. I select the option to eat since we did tell Ciel that we'd have lunch with her, but also we should at least try to eat something since we didn't have breakfast this morning. But Shiki has to get some food first, and when he gets back to the classroom, Ciel is with Arihiko. Shiki eats what he has while the other two talk about the serial killings and the missing people. However, Ciel mentions a new missing persons case from yesterday, and Shiki asks about it. A young girl around high school age went missing around the park last night. Shiki immediately puts together it was the person killed and eaten by Nero last night, which makes her being missing make more sense. The conversation ends with the group being exasperated at the amount of disappearances and killings, but it then shifts towards Shiki not having a TV in the mansion. He does mention Kohaku having one, but since neither of them know who she is, this brings only more questions.
There's a small one in Kohaku-san's room, but I'm not about to barge into a girl's room in the morning. If I want to go to get the news, I have to rely on the newspaper. Tono-kun, what do you mean by a girl? You can't just say that and get away with it, Tono. They're both glaring at me. I slapped my hand over my mouth, but it's far too late. Simply put, there's a servant at my house named Kohaku-san. Huh, a servant? You're really lucky to have a girl around you at all times to take care of your every need. That's not it. There isn't anyone to take care of the mansion, so we have to hire people to do it. Whether she's male or female is entirely irrelevant. Oh, really? Hey, Inui-kun, doesn't Tono-kun sound really intimate with this Kohaku-san? Yeah, he looks really so happy when he said her name. I wanted to ask before, but what kind of a life does Tono lead right now? They trade glances. Ugh. I choke on the bread I'm eating. Arihiko, even Ciel-senpai with her cool glare, interrogates me with bizarre intensity.
He then dreads the remainder of lunch, having to explain his life at the mansion. We time skip to the end of the day though, so we get none of that. Alone in the classroom, bathed in sunset, the red color has him think of blood once again. He doesn't feel like going home, but the continued exposure to the color starts getting to him, and he starts getting a pain in his chest as his mind gets focused on the idea of blood. As he starts to feel physically exhausted and irritated, Ciel walks in to see him, and is a bit concerned. She heard desks being kicked around, and when Shiki sees his surroundings, there are multiple desks displaced on the floor. They both move them back, and Shiki apologizes, not too sure as to what happened. Ciel brings up finding him spaced out in the rain, and now similarly spaced out today, and is a bit confused by it all. Shiki is eventually able to calm down, something he questioningly attributes to seeing Ciel's face. After apologizing once again, he says he'll head home, but Ciel says he'll join him. Or at least to the gate, since they have to go opposite directions to their respective homes. Shiki thinks about how cheerful she is and how he can't be gloomy around her as they make it to the main gate. They then say their farewells, and Shiki heads back to the mansion gate and sees someone waiting there.
I head up the road and draw near the mansion. After a little more walking, I see Hisui standing by herself at the front gate. Huh? I wonder what Hisui is doing. Tilting my head to the side, I head for the front gate. Hisui realizes I'm here and bows her head. Welcome back, Shiki-sama. Yeah, thanks, Hisui. I can barely reply since I'm bewildered by the respectfulness of it all. Were you waiting for me to come home? Yes. Greeting the master is the servant's duty. Answering very matter-of-factly, she doesn't even bat an eyelash. Hisui, I'm truly happy you waited to greet me, but there's really no reason to wait outside. I'll come back on my own, so you can just greet me whenever you realize I'm back. Hisui's face clouds slightly. Oh, maybe she was waiting for me to return like this on Saturday and Sunday. Oh no, she looks so sad. Hisui, I understand. Starting from tomorrow, I will await your return in the lobby. Hisui gives a quick bow and opens the mansion gate. Hisui turns around as she does. For some reason, the atmosphere isn't exactly conducive to conversation. Hisui closes the gate after I pass through, then she silently walks to the entrance to open the door and leads me into the lobby.
Returning to his room, he thinks of what to do. The only thing he thinks about is Arcueid, however, and he decides to just space out in his room for a bit. Nighttime comes, and Shiki eats dinner alone since Akiha won't be back until later. At 10 p.m., he tries to go to sleep, but he is unable to. Some of the pains from yesterday are keeping him from resting. Eventually, it's 3 in the morning, and he's getting frustrated. He starts focusing on the ticking of the clock until a creak intrudes on the orderly movement of seconds. After, slight tapping is heard, and we are given a choice here.
Who is it? If someone was coming this late, it would be Arcueid, Ciel-senpai, Akiha. See, I should have dropped the save, but I feel like the most realistic answer would be it's Akiha. But if I say Ciel Senpai, I think it would be really funny. So I'm gonna say that first.
So, it is time for us to have the talk. Look, I don't put the disclaimer at the beginning there for it to not actually be relevant. So, this is the first sex scene choice in the game. My dumbass didn't even know it at the time, which is why I tried to think somewhat logically about it, but the whole situation is illogical, so let's just keep going. So I select Ciel, and oddly enough, she's here, to Shiki's stupid confusion. When Shiki asks why she's here, she says it's a dream. Through his confusion, he ends up confined to the bed, and then, she, teases his penis. I'm not showing anything, but here's a funny thing that kind of happened that during the scene. I thought it was funny.
I can almost smell its Wait, how do I say this word? Oh shit. I'm sorry, I'm breaking the atmosphere, and I don't know. Wait, I'm also dropping my water. Lasciviousness. I'm assuming that's
Lasciviousness.
lasciviousness. Okay, thank you. That's a new word. I didn't know this word. Lasciviousness. A lustful or lewd quality. The quality of arousing sexual desire. It fucking fits.
And after the screen goes to white, the chapter ends there. Yep, a hell of a way to end the chapter. So, with the vampire Nero having been vanquished and Shiki returning to his normal school life, we leave him, to himself for a bit. Thank you all for watching, and next time, I'll see you for Chapter 6, Bow in the Sky, Part 1.